A few weeks ago, we did a Facebook poll to ask about people's thoughts on Ford versus Ram. And in fact, we even did a whole video about Ford versus Ram trucks. And thank you everyone for voting in that. We had over 100 votes. Once we released our video, we had a lot of comments in our video, emails, and also in the poll on Facebook that asked us why we didn't consider a GMC. And so, we did.
Yes, and in case you missed it last week, we revealed what we bought in terms of our truck and trailer. So this week, we are going to do an in-depth review of the GMC Sierra 1500. So one of the must-haves for this truck was really good towing capacity. The V8 series of this truck actually has a towing capacity range anywhere from 5,500 pounds all the way up to 10,400 pounds. It depends a lot on the engine size and type, as well as the axle ratio of the transmission. We also have something called the max trailering package, which helps a lot. Another important thing is whether it has a factory tow brake controller. Those are really good to have, especially when you're going on challenging terrain or down really steep hills. We also have the tow mode button, which you can put in if you're towing something relatively heavy, like a 25-foot travel trailer, and that helps keep the revs a little bit higher and doesn't strain your transmission quite as much. Another great feature that we have is the Class 4 hitch receiver, which lets you pull a much heavier trailer than with a Class 3 or lower.
We really wanted to make sure that we got a sunroof so that we could get those epic shots of the road ahead of us and the beautiful scenery as we're driving. We also wanted it in case we came across some wildlife so that we could get some great views and safe viewing, one might say, from our truck in the event that we see any.
One thing we really like on this truck is the soft tonneau cover. We weren't sure if we were really going to like it, but it's actually really nice because it comes up and gets completely out of the way and doesn't take up a lot of space on the bed when you're not actually using it. One thing we're a bit neutral about is the ride and the suspension. So it's relatively hard. It is not nearly as nice as the Ram, which pretty much drives like a car, and the Ford drives like a pickup truck, but it's still a little bit softer. So the GMC has pretty hard suspension. I know that Mel's dad said that it drives like a hay wagon. However, the stiff suspension is good for pulling a heavy trailer.
The leather interior that we managed to get in this truck was actually one of our wish list items, but it wasn't a must-have, so we were pretty thrilled that we got it. This model of GMC Sierra has some kind of wood paneling in a few areas that we weren't 100% sure about at the start, but it's growing on us.
So one thing we don't really like about the truck is the fact that all of the 12-volt cigarette outlets stay on even when the car is off, which is really weird. It makes it difficult to plug in our dash cam because it stays on all the time then, whereas in our old car, it would automatically turn off when the car turned off. So we're looking into options to change that. At first, we didn't think it had a backup camera, but then at one point, I was backing up and just happened to glance up in the mirror and noticed that the camera display was actually in the mirror. I'd never seen that before. Overall, this was just a great truck that ticked all of our boxes, and we got it for a great price.
Join us next week as we give you an in-depth tour of our trailer. And then we'll be hitting the road for about an 8-week tour cross-country. So stay tuned.
And in the meantime, as always, please be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, give us a comment, get in touch, and remember, when you roam, everywhere is home.
Join us next week as we give you an in-depth tour of our trailer. The Tracer 2, what is it?
Mel's dad says it kind of rides like a hay wagon.
Yeehaw!